Good morning, Tava Baird.
Good morning, Jennifer Taylor. How are you?
I am well. How about yourself?
I am flying high. We had on Sunday a belly dance class that both you and I attended out in Berkeley Springs with a bunch of lovely people. So that was a wonderful outing, and that starts to get us information for our Lilithian dance on down the line. So I'm super excited about that and all sorts of lovely things.
Yeah. Well, I am really excited to see what comes through and what we talk about. I know once again we have sort of ideas, and yet I'm not even
Ah,
going to bother to say them out loud. And we'll get an idea of what it is that we're most aligned with talking about today.
yes, I feel like there was so much information that came in the last 4 or 5 podcasts that I'm sure there's things we've skipped that like we meant to go back to, but I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, as I was going through and editing, I would read the first thing, and then I would know kind of what we had talked about afterwards and go, oh my gosh, there's so much still in Samael's opening words in each one that it could just go on forever.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot. And we always end up with curveballs too, where you start to sing and the things we planned and the things we meant to follow up on end up sort of falling by the wayside. Eventually, we do circle back around to them in some way in the future, I guess. So I guess we just go with the flow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always amazing the way things come back around and the timing ends up being just right for that little
Yes.
piece of information to come in. So I have
Yes.
complete trust that it will be exactly as it's meant to.
I'm so excited for some song this morning. I think it'll be just what the doctor ordered.
Okay, so I
So
will get prepared and connected, and we'll see what Michael wants to bring through.
wonderful. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. What is it that they say in The Princess Bride? Let me explain. No, let me sum up.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
okay. Recently, so I'm teaching a class this weekend called Chaos Angel. It is the first Lilith level 3 class. It is more advanced work. It goes deeper into some of the more recent things that have been coming through. One of the things that Samael has had me working on to make prints of and distribute at the Chaos Angel class to the students there is something that he calls a vessel. And this was something he spoke to me about. Jen, I mentioned it to you, I know. I guess a couple of weeks ago. Time is not working the way it should. And essentially, it's a written invocation. And he said that he said that in the Lost City, people put it near where they sleep or when they are intending to move to other realms or do deep work. And that it is an invocation that is for your guides to look on you and sort of turn their protective eye in your direction. Now, the beginning of this, and I have the whole thing in notes scattered around in the detritus of my desk right now. But the beginning of it, he started off by repeating aloud to me, which says, and this is what the beginning of it says: Into this vessel I invite the eight teachers, Samael, Lilith, the Magdalene, Agret, myself, Ashet, Heliel, Nayama, and I invoke the holy name of the Angel of the Veil. And then there's more. But at this point, and so I was like, oh, he's repeating the thing he's been repeating to me before. But at that point, he switched. He didn't finish the invocation. And he said Metatron's name 6 times. He went Metatron, 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 Metatron. Now, listeners, Samael regularly just flips into a place where he is invoking Metatron's name over and over. Usually he'll say it a certain number of times and then say praise his holy name, and then he'll do it again. And it seems to be a ritual of sorts. I don't know, we haven't had a conversation about the number of times he does it and what each of those mean, but it's something that he regularly does. So he started off with the invocation. And then when he got to the Angel of the Veil, he went to Metatron, Metatron, Metatron. Then he switched out of that chant and said, and this is all new to me, I bring to you his balance. And she who stands in alignment, yet untouching, the gatherer of prayers. Then he said, and Jen, I think this is a reference to what you and I were talking about on Sunday about the stone circle. At that point, he said, as you stand with your hearts through your spines. So we had talked about standing back to back, right, with heart chakras, but not front to front heart chakras, but with our hearts through our spines. As you stand with your hearts through your spines, so do I stand with the one known as Michael, and anywhere else I can balance. Know, please, that I have no quarrel with Ophan, she who serves the crown. In all things, there should be an aim for balance. In all things, let us not be caught up in who our enemies are said to be, but in the knowing of them, so that we may firsthand judge the character of their hearts. And then he started like he does with Metatron, where he goes Metatron, Metatron, Metatron. He then started saying Ophan, Ophan, Ophan a series of times. And then he just stopped. So I jumped on the internet and typed in Ophan because I do not know what or who that is. And what came up, the first thing that came up was the word ophanim, Ophanim. And it says they are a type of fire angel that guards the throne of God. And I said, is Ophan and Ophanim the same thing? And he was just quiet. So I feel though like he's talking about Ophan is an entity because he said, "Know please that I have no quarrel with Ophan." He didn't say Ophanim or the Ophanim. He said, "I have no quarrel with Ophan, he who serves the crown." And then he started talking about balance. This whole thing about him standing back to back with Michael and that he goes where balance is needed. Remember way back that there here on Earth, there's a lot of discussion about Michael and Samael being enemies, which we know not to be true. It sounds like he's worried. Know please that I have no quarrel with Ophan, he who serves the crown. It sounds like the same disclaimer that he gave when Michael first showed up, when he was like, I have no problems with my brother, right? But it's about who's Ophan?
Yeah, and he had said the same thing too in almost those exact same words about there is no quarrel between them, meaning Mary Magdalene and Simon Peter.
Yeah. And then he's saying, in all things, there should be an aim for balance in all things. So let us not be caught up in who our enemies are said to be. So I feel like this is sort of a separate thing where he's using that to illustrate the point that we shouldn't just necessarily put people in a box and say, you are my enemy, but that we need to know them and then decide if we stand with them or if their work is not in alignment with ours. But who the heck is Ophan? So all I did was I looked up Ophan real quick and it came up with Ophanim, but I didn't look at Ophan.
So, for listeners who were not in the car with us during all these conversations,
Yeah.
in the possibly the last podcast, we had, or probably the one before that, and one of them we were talking about the elephant and standing within the elephant. And Samael was saying, are we divine enough to stand within the elephant back to back? And that Tava and I were supposed to be providing access to our different but very much intersecting and connecting paths by standing back to back and in the center of that figure eight infinity kind of symbol. And he was talking about standing within the elephant. And I brought up when we were on our trip to belly dance that I felt like, since that's a way that I work, that I was meant to stand back to back with her, create the stone circle as I do, and work the way that I do, and help to bring her into that same space and see what happens. And we were saying, what would happen? Like, what's going to happen when we do that? I wonder if that's not also potentially going to open us up to meeting another guide who
Yeah.
potentially might be Ophan. And if we had looked at it, and just again, like the beginning, because I remember when Michael was coming in really strongly, I was really disturbed by the idea that Samael and Michael were supposed to have this quarrel and not get along. And I loved Samael so much, and I'd also been calling in Michael for years. And I wonder if it's sort of a heading off the, yeah, don't, once again, that stuff isn't true. There is no quarrel, there is no issue. Because it was right before the Power of Story that we recorded about Mary Magdalene, he started saying there is no quarrel between Mary Magdalene and Simon Peter. And we were like, why is he suddenly talking about Mary Magdalene? And then we went into recording a Power Story, and he did the whole thing talking about her. I almost wonder if it's not in preparation to her coming in as a guide.
I'm trying to like do research in real time here too, and it says Ophanim is the ancient Hebrew word for wheels. The singular is Ophan. Wheels are mentioned a number of times in the Old Testament. And there's pictures that look like eyes inside of wheels. But I'm trying to look up the angel Ophan to see if Ophan is an angel. But it came in with, let me look up Metatron. There may be somebody listening to this right now who knows exactly what this is, but we don't.
And
Um,
if so, feel free to share your knowledge.
yes, please. We would love that. Metatron and
Here, I'll see what I can
Ophan.
find too.
Oh, 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 hold on. When I typed in Metatron and Ophan and I got Sandalphon. Sandalphon is an archangel in Jewish and Christian writings, although not in scripture. Sandalphon features prominently in the mystical literary traditions of Rabbinic Judaism and early Christianity, notably the Midrash, Talmud, and Kabbalah, and is generally seen as gathering prayers and passing them on to God. Hold on, what did he say? Gatherer of prayers, I bring to you his balance, she who stands in alignment yet untouching, the gatherer of prayers. I think we might be looking at Sandalphon here.
Oh, okay. You know what? When
Okay.
I typed it, it was like Sandalphon. It said Sandalphon. What is angel of? It says angel of music and prayer, which is
The
really
names,
interesting.
let's see. Although
Gathering
not ex
human prayers, weaving them into garlands, and delivering them to heaven, while also leading the heavenly choirs in song.
Although not explicitly, now I'm just Wikipediaing it here, but although not explicitly referenced in scripture, some of the earliest sources on Sandalphon refer to him as the prophet Elijah, transfigured and risen to angelic status. Other sources describe him as the twin brother of Metatron, whose human origin as Enoch is similar to the human origin of Sandalphon. Wait a second. I thought Enoch was supposed to be the only angel that had ever, like, the only one that had stories about him being human. Okay.
Like originally, they were saying that Metatron was Enoch and was human, and Samael was like, yeah, he could not be contained in human
Yeah.
form.
The name Sandalphon, which may be related to the Hebrew Sandek, godfather, thereby corresponding to the tradition of a station held by Elijah with regard to evocation of the prophet in his capacity being protector of unborn children, may also be derived from the Greek prefix sin, meaning together, and adelphos, meaning brother, thus approximately meaning co-brother or co-worker. Okay. Oh, Jenn. Description and functions. Physical descriptions of Sandalphon vary depending on the source. He is uniformly depicted as being extremely tall. During Moses's visit to the third heaven, he is said to have glimpsed Sandalphon and called him the tall angel, though this legend dates to much later than the time of the Torah. It said that we're looking at all different things. Um, oh my God, there's so much here. Oh, in the Greater Key of Solomon, Sandalphon is designated the left hand feminine cherub of the Ark of the Covenant. So we've got
Left
Sandalphon
hand.
described it as both male and female, but we're also getting a left hand thing here. And then here in the liturgy for, I think it's pronounced Sukkot, he is credited with gathering the prayers of the faithful, making a garland of such prayers. And I think in the Zohar, he is, oh, oh, hang on. In the liturgy for Sukkot, I hope I'm saying that
Sukkot, I
correctly.
think. I think it's
Sukkot, thank
Sukkot.
you. He is credited with gathering the prayers of the faithful, making a garland of such prayers, and then, quote, adjuring them to ascend as an orb to the supreme King of Kings. In the Zohar, he is chief of the seventh heaven. And then it says, as Michael does, he carries on a ceaseless battle with Samael, perhaps Satan, angel of evil. The
Well, there
ancient
you go.
sages, the ancient sages also referred to him by the name Ophan, meaning wheel, a reference to the wheel within the wheel from Ezekiel's vision of the heavenly chariot in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. There's a ton of stuff here. And this is just freaking
Oh.
Wikipedia.
Oh, that's so cool. You found the Ophan and the Michael.
Uh,
Like that's
uh-huh.
exactly.
Uh-huh. And then a little further down in Kabbalah, I'm sorry, Sandalphon is an angel who represents, okay, I don't know how to pronounce that, and overlaps or is confused with the angel Metatron. He is said to appear before the feminine presence. Oh my goodness. I can't even pronounce a bunch of these words. Ophan is Sandalphon. And my entire knowledge of Sandalphon is what I just now read you. Okay.
Well, that definitely. I feel like that definitely confirms the Ophan and the whole quarrel thing with Michael. It's yet another one that they're saying is, in a quarrel with
Ophan.
Samael, and clearly don't know Samael because of the way they were referring to him.
I find this so well, and described as both male and female, but we have that with Azrael too, right? And Samael has said that gender doesn't really matter among angels. But this is interesting. But did you see the third heaven during Moses's? Did Moses go to the third heaven? I've never heard that
I had
before.
never heard that.
Because
I'd
you
never
always
heard that
say third
either.
heaven and higher, but I had never heard a connection back to, oh, dude. So what were we going to talk about this week?
Yeah, we were gonna do like basic energy kind of 101 of
Yeah.
understanding yeah, kind of the exact opposite of this.
Okay.
Um
Well, Samael, do
this
you want to
is
say anything else? I am interested to hear what the singer has to say.
like what I have to say on this topic or what I have to say like what we were saying we were gonna talk about.
Okay, so wait.
And I'm wondering how it might connect.
You know what? Yeah, I think what you just said makes sense. There's a reason that this entity that has an overlap with Metatron, or I guess a balance with Metatron, I don't know. But there's a reason this is coming up now. And I think one of the things I think I might be making a mistake on here. Remember when we were talking about time
Mm-hmm.
in our recent episodes, and we talked about how we look and we go, look at the progress that I've made, or I'm farther ahead than I was there, or this happened first, this happened second, this happened third. What if we get rid of that idea? And instead of me going, wow, this new stuff is more advanced, when we were intending to talk about something that is what we might consider sort of a beginning lesson. Maybe Ophan's coming in now to bring us information on that beginning lesson.
And
Maybe
as
we
soon
shouldn't
as
look
you
at it as
said that,
structured that
I
way.
was So I was scanning a website about Ophan, and it said
Mm-hmm.
is often associated with teaching. He calls himself the angel of teaching. One
Oh,
of the things he does is help us to learn our soul's lessons, reconnect back to love, courage, strength within us in order to move past the challenges that we go through in life. He helps us move past the fears that keep us stuck where we are. And he helps us connect back to who we truly are. So, interestingly, what I was sort of brushing up on and bringing up so that I could more clearly articulate about the chakras and our energy system and how our energy systems work. And it's really kind of in line with that to some extent of, understanding and being able to move past these fears and these doubts and these various things that we have and the challenges and how that happens in our energetic bodies and our physical bodies. And I'm wondering if maybe I start talking about that, if that's not going to bring through more of what along the lines of what Samael just brought up.
yes. What if the reason Samael is bringing this up, exactly what you said, is not because this is new information, but that he's trying to tell us perhaps if you invite Ophan in, it will help to create the space necessary for that energetic teaching to come through in a more impactful way.
Yeah, that's very possible. And I wonder if it's possible that that's what was happening already in the opening invocation and that's part of why he started talking about it.
Yep. Ooh.
All right.
How have I been in Samael's orbit this long and I have never heard of an angel Ophan that he's supposed to be in ceaseless war with?
Yeah,
How
you
is
had to
this
work to find
possible?
that. Well, there's a lot that he's supposedly at war with and against and things. I'm going to ask with the pendulum here with Michael for a second. Um,
Angel of the veil, Metatron, Metatron, Metatron. I bring to you his balance, and she who stands in alignment yet untouching, the gatherer of prayers.
okay, because I asked if we like already had invoked Ophan as a part of the thing, and I got this sort of maybe kind of thing, which made me think that what we did was more set the space to invoke her or him or them or um and that it might be wise now that that space is set to go ahead and sing and kind of formally do that and then move into talking about our energy systems and how they work and how we translate energy through our bodies and how all that stuff works.
Samael, who has been very quiet here as we went in circles and did somersaults, just said, "Sing her, please."
All
I'm
right.
curious to see what comes. Are you up for this? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
w
absolutely.
and I'm curious to see if he'll start talking again, so that maybe we can get some words to go with the song. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I am all about that. And it's really interesting because the opening song had a different feel to it. And there
it
was a
did.
different quality that I couldn't quite put my finger on as I was singing and opening the space. So yeah, wow, I can't wait.
Oh my goodness. Okay, our cast of characters continues to grow.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be awesome.
All right.
I
Well,
don't know what that much energy is going to do to me.
it's nice knowing you, Jen. Yeah, it was nice knowing you. there's a very good chance that I'm having a nervous breakdown.
Oh no. Okay, we're just gonna
We
breathe.
really, really, we really need to title this episode Tava might be having a nervous breakdown.
And I blow out your eardrums.
I no, it was gorgeous. And then I went through this emotional roller coaster where I started off just like in shock. And then I started laughing uncontrollably for no reason. And I had to get up and like walk away for a minute because I just, Jen, wait till you hear this.
Oh no. Which I'm just so hoping that people still have eardrums and that we didn't have to edit that out. I've never hit notes that high in my entire life. I
I,
thought something might just burst in my throat. I was like, whoa, okay, definitely higher vibration even than Michael.
it
Holy
was her.
crap.
It was her. I mean, or him, or it, or them. I don't know. So Samael had said, sing her, please. And then he started to speak. And he said, Ophan, the one who gathers, Ophan, whose energy resides in the ringing sword,
Oh boy.
Ophan, who carries more of the eyes of the ancestors in her wake, Ophan, the road maker. And then, buckle in, Metatron creates the gate, Ophan lays the path. Michael sets the bonds and determines who may follow. We talk about judgment, right?
Yes.
There that
Yes.
is for him. Then he continues. This is the pattern of divine expansion. The mysteries of the first two are not fully known to the rest of us. So he's talking about Metatron and Ophan. So I believe he's saying that the other angels do not understand exactly how it is that they do what they do. Let's review those three again. Metatron creates the gate. Ophan lays the path. Michael cuts the bonds and determines who may follow. Then he talked about this is the pattern of divine expansion. The mysteries of the first two are not fully known to the rest of us. When one's energy overlays with another, the waves affect each other. Forms are created. Perhaps among them, a new variable will be birthed, and the way opens. And then he said, building community is not just for comfort, it is a necessary step in creating possibility. It is the holiest of works. Because when you have two entities whose energy overlays each other, which they do when they are building community, the divine energies of each of them affect the other and create a possibility for new variables that can then lead to divine expansion. Wait, there's more. So I'm going to go back a little bit because it's important. Building community is not just for comfort, it is a necessary step in creating possibility. It is the holiest of works. Attack or break a community and find yourself in opposition to God. Now, here's where it gets weird if that isn't enough. Gentle listeners, I have a terrible habit about the way that I use notebooks for Samael. Okay. I have stacks of notebooks. They are in no particular order. When we get onto podcast or when I sit down to channel, I just grab a notebook, flip to whatever page is empty, and start writing. this causes issues because then if we want to go back, I don't know which notebook it's in or what order it's in. And as a result, I just have piles of notebooks waiting to be transcribed that I never get to. And everything is in the wrong order. So I get to the end of this little writing and I decide I need a new page. So I flip the notebook over, and there's literally like 2 pages of grocery lists, right? So I rip them out. I don't know how I must have picked up this notebook or to-do lists or something. Although there is a sketch of an angel on one page, and I don't know what that is. And it says pure white bells, Michael. Anyway, we'll ignore that. There are 2 pages, and I rip them out. And then what is on the next page is a note from February 10th. I assume from this year. That's literally sounds almost like Samael's continuing, or like he's like, it almost sounds like the continuation of what he's saying. So we go to attack or break a community and find yourself in opposition to God. I turn the page and it already says on the page from February 10th. The commonality of our vibration is the foundation of our work here, Umshala, to bring divine rhythm and wavelength to those out of balance, to allow our people to speak together in one powerful voice. When the here reflects the existence beyond the fourth mirror in some way, progress is made, progress that cannot be undone, and it all starts on this plane with language. Let your words resound outside of their societal boundaries with love. Let us turn to one another and say, you are heard and seen, and this statement is not a rote platitude. Let us sing together. Let our bones tremble with it, and then glory and balance will be ours. So he's talking about conversation in community when he just finished speaking on community. And at that point, I just put down the pen and I said, am I supposed to have gone right into reading that? And he started laughing and he said, and the cycle connects before expanding, Umshala, just as you have drawn. So basically, what he just did was talk about community. He talked about community on the 10th, and that was a cycle. We came back around to it today and expanded on it. And so we are following that diagram that he had us draw a couple podcasts ago. So he totally wanted me to read this next and realize that I was coming back, or we were coming back to the end of a cycle, and have me reread what was said on the 10th. And
Wow.
that was the point where I started having the nervous breakdown. The thing that's getting me, Ophan, whose energy resides in the ringing sword. That means Michael carries some of Ophan's energy with him.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Didn't he say that Metatron gave him the sword?
I think so. I can't remember, but
I
I
I,
I
I
think you're
feel
right.
like at some point, like Metatron gave him the sword, and it also then has Ophan's energy in it, which makes sense if he's supposed to cut bonds. If he's like the preceding
He's
being,
following right
yeah,
after
it's
them,
like
yeah.
he's starting right before them, though, right? Like he cuts the bonds, and then they make the gate, or they make the gate, then the path, and then
Then he
he
determines who gets to
determines
go
who gets to
down that
travel
path.
on it.
And we've seen this before. Remember back when we were talking about the gate at the inn, and the spirits there said it was malfunctioning and things were coming through it that weren't supposed to, and that the energy was out of balance in this on this side of the veil versus the other side of the veil. basically the energy had gotten out of whack. And the filter of who was allowed in and how many and at what time and what sort of work they were doing that Michael had set up, there was an energy imbalance and the gate had to be fixed. And that was the first time I saw the gate reset itself with all the numbers that were moving,
Right.
right? So if we have this idea that Metatron is always on the move and Metatron's passing creates the beginning of a gate, and then Ophan basically is coming along both on the wheel, right? And creating this path so that people or entities can use the gate. But then Michael is kind of in charge of going, wait a second, we don't want to flood through here right now. Like, let's look at the balance in both worlds, not just from the divine side. Michael's setting up the stoplights, kind of, right?
Yeah. So just the day before yesterday, we had a whole conversation about how I had received an attunement to the first cornerstone of Omnivara. And I kept seeing this like geometry that kept happening and coming in. And it was the collecting and filtering and collecting and filtering of the energy that Michael was pouring into me for the attunement. And then there was a symbol that I was saying, so what does that mean when it's in the symbol the way that I've seen it? And Samael was saying that that symbol is essentially the symbol of Michael filtering and protecting and deciding what should come in, and the eye. So the symbol that he was telling us about, because I was like, I understand then how it is that Michael is using that geometry, like basically that symbol in my body when he's pouring stuff in. And then we have the symbol of that. That's exactly what he does for the gates
Yeah,
then.
yes. I am starting to disassociate hardcore. I need to ground.
Can you touch something and tell me about the temperature of it? Like touch maybe the
Okay.
table or
Okay,
something
here
and
we
tell
go.
me. So what does it
It's
feel
cool.
like?
It's cool.
It's cool. What's the texture like?
Uh, Smooth, soft.
Smooth and soft. What
It's a
color
mouse
is
pad.
it?
It's black. Okay, that's
Okay.
much better. Okay.
Let's see. Let's maybe pick something else and touch it and you can tell me about it.
Okay, let's get here, I'll pick up my Lilith rubber stamp.
Okay, so tell me about what
Okay.
does that feel like in your hands?
Smooth at the top and bumpy at the bottom.
All right, what temperature is it?
Slightly warm.
And then put that against maybe your heart chakra and tell
Okay.
me how it feels there. What's the temperature there? Does it
Cooler
feel
now.
it's cooler?
Cooler. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
I
put it down on your legs for a minute.
This is wild. Remember how when I first started channeling Samael, like things would get blurry and there was almost like an overload that started happening as you were talking about the symbol. Like everything was getting blurry and my spine felt like it was on fire. Um,
Wow.
for people who are listening, this is a fantastic exercise that I don't think we've touched on in a while. Then would you mind reviewing with everybody like this technique you're using with me right now to ground? I am going to
Yeah.
go get I have tea across the room. I'm going to go get that to drink something and see if that chills
Be
everything
sure
out
to stand up really slowly. Like
slowly.
maybe put your hands on the desk and then just try it out a little bit first.
Yeah, I have not had sensations like this since I first started channeling Samael. I
Yeah,
feel
make
like
sure
I've
you're
gone back in
more
time.
grounded before you stand up because
Okay.
standing up is a whole nother level of movement and you're still plugged into your, yeah, I was going to say you
Yeah,
still
I'm going
have,
to take off my ear. But yeah, I think, I mean, this is an intense amount of energy came through in that song, I think. Oh my
yeah.
God. All right. I'll be back in theory. If I
Okay. As you
Right back.
walk, pay attention to the sensation. Like if you're barefoot, feel
I
how the
am.
ground feels underneath. Like pay attention to the carpet and the
Okay.
rug and the temperature and the texture as you go, and see if that also helps to keep you anchored.
Thank you. I will be right back.
Okay, so we've talked about this before. It's like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 kind of thing. You can do it in the more, traditional way of tell me 5 things that you see, 4 things that you hear, 3 things you can touch, or whatever. And I don't remember exactly what the orders are. But like I just, illustrated, the most important thing when somebody starts to disassociate is to get them to pay attention to their physical body and what's physically happening around them. And I found the best way to do that is through touch, like just the way that I was just describing it, having them touch things and tell you about how it feels, the texture, the color, as much detail as they can give you. But it needs to be detail that they get from direct physical experience. So things that they are seeing in the room, you don't want to have them have to think back to anything. So you want to stay away from like, oh, where did you order that from? Or where did it come from? Or who gave it to you? But you want to instead focus on things like something that they can only get the information from by using their senses in this moment. So, the color of it, the texture and temperature and color are great because you get lots of different senses there. You can have somebody tell you sounds that they hear, like list as many sounds they hear, taste. The other thing is like her drinking is good. If you can have somebody tasting something or something that has a lot of texture, like something crunchy, something chewy, something that has a lot of mouth feel to where there's a lot of sensation in it. You want to get physical sensation and get the person really paying attention to their physical sensations. Then if they know of grounding techniques in it, or if you can be to where they can have their feet on the actual ground outside, like on the earth, is really helpful. How are you doing?
So I got up, I crossed the room, and I have, in my effort to be more hydrated, I now keep 4 giant mason jars of peppermint tea brewing in the refrigerator at all times. And I just try to drink as much as I can. So I had one across the room and I went to go get it. I came back, I sit down, and all of a sudden my left eye just starts like it's on fire. Like I think there's something in my left eye, but I mean I didn't touch my eye or do anything different. So I had to get up again, round again, make it into the bathroom, and I just stood in there pouring water and blinking as fast as I could to see if I could dislodge. But I don't think it's a thing. It's just like my left eye was burning the same way my spine was burning just a few minutes ago. So I now have, probably look like I'm crying. I have water all over my eyes. And if it starts up again, I may have to get up and run in there. But it is not lost on me that it's my left eye.
Yeah. Yeah, there seems to be, and your spine too is really interesting to me based on the stuff that I was originally planning on talking about.
And it is
Interesting.
right there, slightly below the shoulder blades, hot, hot, hot. Like heart chakra, but on my back. What in the world is happening?
Wow.
If this has to do with Ophan, I'm gonna need an optometrist just to talk about her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some really powerful energy. When it's interesting, the need for instant grounding, because I found as I was singing that like I was being shown to sing higher and higher notes, but then I became aware that it was like I had to sing a lower note first to be able to hit the higher note. And it's like I was being shown that you must go lower to go higher. And it was
Yep.
this sense of, you have to be as more grounded in order to balance it with that, because clearly, I mean, her energy is, if she's up there with Metatron, I mean, her energy
Yeah.
is such high vibration that that's way more than our physical bodies and energy systems are designed to be taking in, and not a whole lot of it.
And I
But it
wasn't
was
even,
really interesting. Like, I
I
had to
wasn't
end,
singing. Yeah.
but you were receiving it though, because you were hearing it, so you got all of that. And I did, it was interesting though that at the end I had to get down on my hands, like with my head down, but instead of having my forehead on the ground, I was singing low notes, and notes that got lower and lower, like down into the earth. It was like I had to get literally on my hands and knees with my face almost touching the ground, sending low note like energy down to try to, I guess, ground all of that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense that you were okay when we finished the singing. But when we started talking about all of the energy and the information that came through, that it was like you connected into all of that information and stuff again, like maybe too strongly.
Yeah. And I mean, I've gotten to the point now where a lot of times I can just channel Samael live. Like I don't have to sit and write because, well, sometimes I can't keep up writing. But I have not had, like, I feel like I did on the podcast a year and a half ago, where it was like, okay, I'm going to go sleep for days after, you know, this is a whole new level of energy for
Yeah.
both of us. I
Yeah.
can't
It's a
believe, yeah.
lot.
So, well, the thing was, the purpose of your song to invite Ophan in was so that then you could talk about experiencing energy. So it sounds like that energy is here. We're in a good, blessed place to do that. Are you up for that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In fact, I thought, I was like, okay, before we unpack any more of that so that that does not completely destroy you. Yeah, I was like, maybe going Mal back to going lower to going higher to go higher
Yeah.
concept. I can talk about the our energy systems and kind of generally how they're set up and made. And then we'll see. I know lots of people talk about chakras and using them, and it's like, oh, I have an issue with this sort of thing, and that's in that heart chakra, so I'm going to get crystals and I'm going to do these different things and work on that specific chakra. But there's sometimes I realize not a complete overall picture of how our whole energy systems work, or kind of what they are and what they do. And so I thought I would just explain some of that, but it looks like that's going to have to be saved for next week, as we are all out of time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a wild ride.
Absolutely. We look forward to connecting with you again next week, and we will follow this with a pre recorded song so that we don't send Tava over the edge. Here is Sacred Soothing.
And thank you for having attended my nervous breakdown. We'll see you soon.